What's really good, Bird Eagles Nest, Bird Gang Nation, the Philly Faithful. This is your boys coming on to talk about last week on Monday and preview the Commanders game. So shout out. We have a couple of Commanders fans in the comments checking us out since we'll be doing that team. But you know who we here for every week. You know what I'm saying? As always, it's your boy Cool McCain. And I'm joined by
none other than Wyatt from Squad Pod Sports, Cinema Trip Reviews.
Let's Get It. So Wyatt, you know, it's an exciting week for me, man. We've been talking about, changing things up a little bit.
Yeah.
Streamlining, just doing some things a little different, right? Just, showing people like we grown, we doing our thing. So another big part of that happened for us this week.
Yeah.
I want to shout out to my boy at Cold Sports for this one right here. This is what we're doing every week. Still remember, no one likes us. We don't care.
Nope.
But this is the thing moving forward. Let's go.
The kick is away, and the kick is, it's gone! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Yes, sir. Man. Let's go.
Let's freaking go. Again, man, shout out to Echo Sports for blessing us with that amazing outro video. Because we're going to be showing you that twice every week for sure.
That's dope, man. We got a new look going forward.
What?
New look Eagles on the field as well. So to match up with it. So everything's clicking as of right now.
Man. Listen, if I'm Jalen Hurts, there's a few things that I want to say to people, right? There's a few things, right? There's just so many things that Jalen Hurts should be wanting to say. But there's one that definitely needs to be said.
Acknowledge me.
Straight up. Especially with that stance he hit after that huge bomb to Quez Watkins, bro. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
This is a side we're not used to seeing from Jalen Hurts. Just like going out here and act like that was a straight G move. Like standing in midfield, like, Oh, y'all been saying I don't have that arm strength. Y'all been saying I have noodle arm. Well, guess what? Acknowledge me.
You know what I'm saying? And I tell y'all this all the time, but I want you to ingrain it in your memory.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's cream rising to the top. Now, as I was watching the game last week, and there's a lot of different things to talk about, of course, a lot of different ways we can spin that.
Yeah.
But as I was watching the game last week, there's only one thing I could think. Yes, sir. I went there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was wild. It's been a roller coaster of emotions for these 2 weeks now, because I don't think anybody really expected us to be on the ride that we're on right now. They expect the team to come just, right out of the gate, firing on all cylinders, putting up points from the start of the game too. Like, we're used to seeing the team showing up like halfway through the game, back half of these games. But no, this is a whole different team than we've seen the past couple of years now. And man, it is exciting. I know it's only 2 weeks in, but this is very exciting.
Definitely. And we have to shout out the NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Oh, yeah.
Darius
100%.
Big Play Slay. Acknowledge him as well for what he did.
Yeah.
5 passes defended, 2 picks, should have been 3 easy. So I feel like when it comes to Justin Jefferson, this is what he said to him in his mind, or maybe even out loud before the game.
Just bring it, bitch!
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Slay is, I think he is like he is the top rated corner right now through these 2 games in the league, which is crazy. And I think he's only 31. I don't know if this is the last year of his contract, or does he have another one on there?
He has another year, I think.
He has another year.
Yeah.
But man, Howie needs to lock this dude down. Like, we need to keep this dude around. If he's playing at an elite level at 31, he can continue to go forward. He's like Jason Kelsey, like how he is, just on the defense and then secondary. But man, yeah, like you said, he could have easily had 3, possibly 4 picks. I mean, Kirk Cousins was just throwing to Slay every single time. Like, I don't understand what he was doing. Like, by the end of the game, Kirk Cousins wasn't even looking for a receiver. He was just chucking it up, hoping somebody would catch it at that point.
It's crazy, man. Kirk Cousins in prime time is not a good thing, but you know what?
No,
that's not the Eagles' problem. We went out there and did what we were supposed to do last week.
Yeah,
and they got
that
beat
was
down.
And that was the biggest concern that we were talking about last week. It was like, what is this defense going to look like? We got, the Lions were taking advantage of us. What's Justin Jefferson going to be able to do, or Adam Thielen? But man, I got to give Jonathan Gannon props coming out game plan with this one, man. He put everybody on good graces for at least one more week. Just kind of postpone a little bit until he messes up again with the game plan. But man, this was solid. We were seeing blitzes, different blitz packages. The receivers weren't playing 10 yards off of the receiver. They were actually playing some man coverage every now and then. I mean, it was exactly what we wanted to see, and they shut Justin Jefferson down. Kirk Cousins wasn't able to do anything. They were lucky enough to get that touchdown when they did, because it was looking like if we were playing like that the whole game, they weren't going to put any points on the board.
Yeah, man. I also wanted to shout out Mr. Revenge Game himself,
Yeah.
Jalen Rager. We have 2 targets, 2 catches for 13 yards.
Yeah.
A couple of yards on punt returns.
Yep. And 70,000 boos from the fans in the stands every single time he was on the field. So,
Jalen Rieger, I have a personal message for you, sir.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Right? Like,
that's what
this
you
is
do
what
when
you're
it comes
missing,
to the
man.
Eagles. That's what you do when it comes to the Eagles. You know why? Because you had a chance to be here, but you can't catch the ball. You know why? Even though it was your revenge game, you only had 2 targets? Because you can't catch the ball.
Yeah. And I think he had a screen pass, and there was another play where he didn't go anywhere. So, yeah, I know he's pretty fresh to their offense, but still, he shouldn't have came out talking about like he was looking for a revenge game or anything like that. Like, that's just foolish.
You are the 4th best receiver at best on Minnesota. And then you took KJ and you got him out there playing like you. He's got a deep pass in the middle. He's looking like Jalen Rieger out there dropping the ball.
Yeah, almost all of their players were dropping balls in that 4th quarter. Like they were all out of sync. They weren't able to do anything towards the end of that game.
The Rieger effect. I'm telling you, when you put the scrub on your team. Thank you for giving us back anything for that guy. And hey, I'm telling you, still happy every time I think about the fact that we actually got something for that dude.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Just makes me happy.
Yeah, and I mean this game was great, man. This is exactly what we want to see. The only really nitpick I have, and I know you shared it as well before, was we shouldn't have let our foot off the gas, man. I mean, I feel like at any point we could have just kept scoring, but we were just trying to, I feel like, running that clock down the whole time. Like in that second half, we just started running the ball even more, throwing some. I mean, they took their chances every now and then. Like they had that big, that 35-yard pass to Quez that got called back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they were playing pretty safe there in that back half. And even like Jalen Hurts after the game was like, we left a lot of money on the table. Like I wanted to keep my foot on the gas. Like we should have kept going. And we could have probably easily hung 40 points on their head that night. It's crazy. very impressed by how this team has been performing here, especially offensively. Like we're up in like the top 5 teams as far as points scored in these 2 weeks, which is very, very positive going forward. And going into a week where we're playing Washington, this is the exact kind of momentum we want to go into that game with. And you could just feel the vibe and the energy just in that stadium, just watching on TV, the crowd and the team. Very 2017 vibes, if I do say.
I love where you're going with that, man. I love where you're going with that. All seriousness aside, all jokes aside, serious for a moment. We don't be serious too much, but if I could just be serious for a moment.
Yeah.
I watched the game, and like you said, first half, I'm hyped. I'm wild. I'm like, yeah. Then I come out in the second half. I start seeing the play calling, the way we're playing offensively, because the defense kept going by offensively. And there's only one thing I thought. Because I'm just like, man, we have to finish a game. Because we got the Commanders this week. That's a division team, right? So, we're going to have someone on later, Couch Coach, in about 15 minutes or so. We're going to be discussing the game next week. But for previous week's game, the Monday night game, we cannot let up. We have to play 4 full quarters. And that's where I think the concern is, because it's 2 games in a row. The offense did not do a lot for us in the second half. And that gets to a point where it's like, come on, man, we got to be better than that, because we're going to be playing better teams as we go along. We're not going to continue to play the same level of teams. So with that being said, I mean, it's just got to be better. We just have to be more consistent. We have to finish out the games offensively. Like I always talk about, keep your foot on their throat. Don't get in the game and then all of a sudden we're not doing what we need to do anymore. No. You start the game, you finish the game the same way. The best teams in the NFL, that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And my man Scrub Zero, appreciate you for hopping on and checking us out, man. Definitely going to be a lot of Eagles talk, but we will be talking the second half of the show about the matchup for next week.
Yes, sir.
So definitely appreciate you hopping on, man. It's so crazy that there's things that you could complain about in a 24/7 game.
Yeah.
But seriously, that second half, it just didn't seem like the play calling was the same. It didn't seem like the same energy. I mean, guys were making plays when they were given the chance, don't get me wrong, but it's like we just resigned to, we're just going to protect the ball and we're just going to, run the clock.
Yeah.
Never been a fan of that, especially when you're up by 2 touchdowns in the field goal. We weren't even getting field goals in the second half. We essentially, in the second half of the 2 games we played, I don't believe we've scored.
Yeah, and I guess the Vikings, with some of the weapons they had at any point, I was still worried up until, down towards the end of the fourth quarter, just because this team, if they can get hot, they can catch up with us in no time. If they're able to get a touchdown, stop us on offense, which they were doing in the second half because we were being conservative. I mean, they could easily caught back up with us. And whenever you start playing conservative, it'll be a little harder for you to get back in that momentum that you had previously. If you do need to start, getting scores and getting points here right away, if they do catch up. So I was definitely worried up until, last couple minutes or so, but it was nice, man. It's nice having these games where you don't have to stress the whole time.
Yeah. It's nice having the games for sure. But yeah, you just want to, just put them away, man. Let's not leave any doubt. Let's just, come out the first drive of the second half. Boom. Let's try another big connection. Let's try to run the ball. Let's still do the things that we were doing in the first half. Let's carry it over and keep that momentum going. I just don't want to get in a situation where, we score in the first half, we're not scoring in the second half, and we're becoming the opposite of last year. That's what we don't need. We just need to make sure we can still put up points in the second half. I think this is the game to come out. It's going to be more, I think, of what good old JR would call a slobber knocker. So I think this is going to be one of those games. It's division, man. Let's be honest. When you play any team in the division, the Giants, the Cowboys, or the Commanders. Either one of those teams, it's kind of like they're always tight. So you want to just be, crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's from the beginning throughout the entire game. You don't want to get in those situations where it's just, wow, man, we don't want to leave teams with an opportunity, right? We just want to continue to have both sides of the ball play well for the entire game. Now, I will say this. I have been a little critical of Jonathan Gannon and what he's done since he's been the coordinator. But if I'm Jonathan Gannon walking off the field last night, this is how I feel.
got these Philly fans off his back for another week, less than a week going into Sunday. So we better do something Sunday, get everybody on his good graces going forward another week. But yeah, I mean, he's held off the mob another week. We'll see what happens here. I hopefully he keeps those blitzes in the game plan. Starts getting Jordan Davis in there more. It seemed like he got more reps than week one. It seems like they're kind of slowly getting him into there, get him acclimated up to game speed. So I'm sure by towards back half of the season, Jordan Davis will be pretty regular presence on that defensive line.
Yeah, I want to see some Nakobe Dean sightings as well.
Nakobe Dean, he's been getting nothing but special teams reps, right, it seems. You haven't seen him in the actual secondary at all, really.
Yeah, we need all those pieces because, I always say, if you're a depth guy, you're the second guy on the depth chart, you're one bad play away, you're one injury away for being out on the field. So I want those guys to get some reps. I understand, what might be happening is you went out and you got so many guys that you're maybe slightly struggling, right, with just how to find guys to fill out those roles. But at the end of the day, man, one thing we all need to understand, depth is important. These guys need to get some season because a lot of these guys are young guys or guys that haven't played a lot if they're not rookies. They're rookies, second, third-year players. So they're still younger as far as understanding the game, the speed, the NFL, and all that. So let's get these guys some reps, man. All cylinders need to be firing. We need to be ready, And Gannon, one more week, no pitchforks and torches. So be happy. But remember, we still got the pitchforks and torches, and we'll still pull them out on you.
Yeah, we got him just sitting here waiting. But man, I mean, other than Darius Slay, who we've talked about, the biggest thing out of this game, as we know, is Jalen Hurts, man. Jalen Hurts has been getting love from the media all over the place. He's getting recognized as, that dude at this point. I mean, what was his first? He was like almost a perfect passer rating in that first half, which was nuts. He had 300 yards almost.
Yep.
He looked amazing. He was sitting cool, calm, and collected in that pocket, leaving when he had to, and he was hitting shots all over the place to, outside the markers. He's hitting a lot of shots in the middle of the field through defenders as well. Stuff like throws we weren't even seeing him make last year. Like he was kind of a little afraid to make those throws, but we're seeing a lot of, great throws with a lot of confidence behind him as well. And he trusts these players and he's delivering them to everybody. Everybody's getting catches in these games. It's not like he's throwing on to just one person. People were worried about Devontae Smith last week. He was the lead receiver in this game. So it's any given Sunday. You're going to, like we mentioned before, you're going to be seeing one of these players usually stick out each week. But Jalen Hurts played phenomenal in this game. And I think, he could have had even better of a game if they kept that foot on the gas. Imagine what his stats would have looked like if they would have just kept their foot on the gas the whole time. He would have really been talked about this week.
It would have been just ridiculous. And I want to say this. Jalen Hurts has arrived.
The kid, you dig that sucker!
The Hurts haters and Arlington fans are real quiet since Monday.
You can hear a daggone pin drop now, right? I went from every group on Facebook, all this hate for QB1 to silence. I think I had 2 people just come in the groups and say, look, man, I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong, whatever. Much respect. Because I get it. You have to go out and show it. But the thing is, what would you ever gain? And this is the fans of any team, honestly. We're talking about the Eagles, but any team. What do you gain about down your starting quarterback, right? If you're a Vikings fan, you gotta ride with Kirk Cousins. You may not want to, and I can understand why, but that's your QB1. You gotta ride with him. There's very few fan bases that will openly attack their starting quarterback. And that's what's been happening with our guy. But at the end of the day, he's shutting them up. And the way you do that is you go out in the field, you give him a little swag, you make the plays, you drop a little pose, you let him know this ain't no game no more. This ain't year one Jalen that's still learning, a little scared, trying not to make mistakes. This is, I'm about to go out here and show everybody who I am. Everybody talking about me, about what I need to do. I'm about to go show you. Yeah. Right? And the big thing is contract. So everybody's been talking about the contract for Jalen Hurts. Remember one thing. This is year 3 of a 4-year deal because he was a second-round pick. So what that means is even if we do give the big contract or an extension to him, it's not going to kick in more than likely until after next season. So we're still going to get another season of Jalen Hurts at a discount. And what that means is we still are able to have other weapons come in, maybe front end some guys to make all the cap numbers work until Jalen's going to eventually, start getting that big contract. Because if he continues to play the way he's playing right now, and that's if it's a long season, but if he continues to do that, and I have confidence that he will, then it's coming, right? Because you want to get it out of the way. You don't want it to be a distraction. Yeah. Think this offseason or early in training camp, I think next year, somewhere between there, if he continues to play the way he does and we go as deep as me, you, and some other people hope, me, you, and the whole fan base, as a matter of fact, hope.
Yeah.
Then, it's coming. And I'm just excited that we're doing what we need to do. Defensively, all those pieces that we brought in, all those things that we talked about all off season about how the defense was much better and all that, those things are coming to fruition. We're seeing the work. We're seeing them gel more week to week. They're better week 2 than they were week 1. One concern that I heard brought up about them and the Bills, because a lot of people are now saying the Eagles and the Bills are the 2 best teams.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's going to be an Eagles-Bills Super Bowl, and that people aren't ready for that. It was like, I ain't ready to go that far with it at all.
Yeah, I don't think the Northeast could handle that either. But,
no.
But I'm just excited that they're doing well. Man. I'm just excited that it's everything we need it to be. There's still more to do. Yeah,
there's a lot to work on. Like, I still think this defensive line could do a lot better with putting pressure on the QB. We shouldn't have to have an all-out blitz to get to the quarterback. Some of these guys we expect to be able to put some pressure on even under 4-man, or maybe you throw the 5-man in there. But Fletcher Cox, some of these other guys, they should be putting pressure on them regardless. We expect them to be doing this, and it's just even through these 2 weeks we haven't really seen that. We've had to had the linebackers come down and go into the all-out blitz. So I'm hoping it's just something that'll happen as the season progresses, as they get settled a little bit more. That's really my only worry as of right now, is just like, unless we force it, we're not really getting much pressure on the opposing QB as much as we liked and as much as we hoped coming into the season.
Definitely. And Scrub Zero makes a great point. We don't want the contract situation to drag on like the Baltimore situation. Yeah, you don't want that, man. You don't want that. The thing is, that's unfortunate. I like Lamar. I think he's a really good quarterback. I think obviously he could use some work from the standpoint of making the throws, but that's all because of what? That's because he's been in a system where he hasn't been used properly, hasn't been trained properly. Now, what I will say, and I say this about all young quarterbacks, you have to put in that work yourself too. You can't leave it all in the organization. In the offseason, I understand you're going through the thing with the contract. You pretty much represent yourself, so that took a lot of your time and effort. I get it. But you got to find the time, man, to work on bettering yourself every year, right? One of the things that Hurts did is he went and saw a couple of QB gurus. One of them is the QB guru that Tom Brady has used in the past as well. So, the reason that you're seeing what you're seeing on the field now is the work, right? This man can squat 600 pounds. He's a powerful quarterback.
Saw in this game, he ran like 25 yards to get that touchdown, bulldozing through people. That last 5 yards is all just power. And that's the thing. I don't want him to run too much because I don't want him to be in situations where he's putting himself at risk of injury. But there are times where it makes sense to run. And I think he's doing a great job of saying, I'm a quarterback who can run. And I'm not a running back who can throw, as people try to say after the first drive of the first game in Eagles groups. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves. And I see a lot of you are not posting at all now. And I'm going to continue to remind you that there's a large portion of the Philadelphia Eagles fan base who did not want Jalen Hurts to be the quarterback and didn't believe in QB1. But see, what you got to realize is people that know more
that have forgotten more football than we'll ever know, said this guy needs another chance. We want to put him out there and see what he's got.
Yeah.
And
And
he's getting it done.
to add on to what you're saying about the contract too, similar to what we did with Washington's current QB, Carson, we extended him before his contract ran out. And another plus of doing that is you want to kind of get your quarterback taken care of before some of these other quarterbacks get taken care of, or else you're going to end up paying even more for him.
Mhm.
So say if Jalen Hurts has a fantastic season this year, I would be totally fine with locking him up before Baltimore tries to lock down Lamar Jackson. I don't think Joe Burrow has been re-signed, has he?
No, he wouldn't be eligible yet.
Yeah, there's a couple other QBs out there that haven't been re-signed as well. So, I mean, if it works out, which I'm hoping it does, try to lock him down ASAP. That way we don't have to overpay for him because of these other contracts. I mean, it's a little different situation. I know Lamar was an MVP. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl. But you kind of saw it similar with this offseason with some of the wide receivers. Jacksonville went and signed Christian Kirk to that huge deal and just ruined all of the market pretty much for these other wide receivers. All these teams had to overpay for some of these wide receivers. Similar to kind of what you're seeing with the Lamar situation, where the Browns went out and gave Deshaun Watson this fully guaranteed huge deal. And now Lamar wants pretty much a fully guaranteed contract, which is going to be huge. And all these other QBs, I'm sure, are going to want close to that deal as well, because they gave it to him, even though that was kind of a special circumstance, which I mean, that's a whole nother subject in general. Browns are just dumb, but that's going to affect things going forward for QBs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Justin Herbert. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of other QBs that are going to be looking to make some big bank. So hopefully maybe Howie's good with the money, Howie's good with them deals. And I'm sure Jalen, as much as a team guy he is, I'm sure he's not going to try to get the max deal. I'm sure he would be willing to try to take somewhat of a team-friendly deal, kind of keep these guys around, keep AJ around for even. I know we signed him to a deal, but keep some of these other players around.
Got to pay Devontae in a couple of years too, so
exactly.
There's some other things coming up. So yeah,
and keeping some of these guys on defense.
To me, the guaranteed number, man, that's what I'm going to be interested to see where we're going with the guaranteed number for him, or when an offer is made, if an offer is made for him, what the guaranteed is. And like you said, man, the longer you wait, the more you procrastinate, the more dollars you're going to have to drop, because it's not a game with these quarterbacks. It is not a game.
Yeah, because we paid Wentz early because we didn't want Dak to get paid first, and a couple of those other QBs, I think Goff, forget who else, but I know that was a big story whenever we signed Wentz to that deal, is because he went and got it done real early, because it was like going into the season, and nobody was really expecting it at that time. But
it made sense financially because it was set up so 1 year you take a hard hit, but then you can get out of it if need be, and that's what Indianapolis was able to do with that contract because of how we set it up. But yeah, man, it's just a matter of this season. We know what we need to do. We're starting on the right path, but we're nowhere near the end of it. It's going to be a crazy season. It's going to be ups. It's going to be downs. What we need to make sure that we do as Eagles fans is ride the waves. Don't run over, because the media is over sensationalizing everything right now, right? The media is trying to tell you that now Jalen Hurts is the MVP. Jalen Hurts is not the MVP yet. He had a great game, but he's not the MVP yet. And he doesn't belong in that conversation yet. And I say that as a guy who loves Jalen Hurts. But he goes out there and continues to do what he's doing. That changes things. One game does not make you an MVP. Nick Foles had an amazing game for us, right?
Yeah.
He has a game that's in the Hall of Fame. His jersey and stuff from specific games in the Hall of Fame because of how great he played for one game. So we just need to see more. We need a better defense consistently. We need an offense for the full game. And we need to see more out of our quarterback consistently. I think those things are going to happen, but I'm not going to run and say that, we had a great game against Kirk Cousins on Monday night, so now all of a sudden we the kings of the NFL.
Yeah.
Slow your roll.
It's only going into week 3
games and keep it moving. And I do agree with Scrub Zero 100%. Nobody's won the first 2 weeks, and that's what I'm saying. Just relax. You know, everybody's a candidate now because we only got 2 games. As we see how things roll out and how things shake out, you know, that's when we're gonna see what's going on. But why do you have anything else that you would like to say
Uh,
about the game last week? I want to kind of close it out
just
so
got
we can have
some.
time to move forward.
Yeah, just got a couple things here. Just a very eerie stat. I thought it was kind of crazy. About almost 12 years ago to today, Mike Vick had 333 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And in this game, Jalen Hurts had 333 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So they matched almost 12 years, almost exactly. They had almost the same exact stat. The only thing is Jalen Hurts had an 80% completion percentage in this game. And he's the first player in NFL history to do that. Have 300 plus passing yards, 80% completion percentage, and multiple rushing touchdowns. So, man, like you're saying, this is one game, but if he can just keep up this level of play going through a season, no doubt that he could be an MVP. It's just you can't crown him week 2. And the last thing I have here is just something pretty cool. Eagles are 10-3 in their last 13 games under Nick Sirianni. Pretty good stat.
It is a pretty good stat for sure. But yeah, so with
Trending
that, man,
upwards.
we definitely trending up. Where with that, we're gonna bring on the man of the half hour. We're gonna call him. You know, my guy. Been my boy ever since I met him, man. We just clicked right away. The couch coach. Couch coach, you muted over there, brother.
Oh, what's going on,
Okay,
fellas?
there you go.
Yeah,
What's going on,
how you
man?
doing, man?
I'm good.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this man below me, he might be a Commanders fan, but I want y'all to know he's a busy brother. Okay. This man attempted to do the same thing I do every week. But he was wise enough to do it throughout the whole offseason and not every week. Getting with people from every team and just going through and handling all that. It's crazy, right, Couch Coach?
Yes, and I've only did it for once. I couldn't do it every week. It would drive me crazy. And I'm like, sometimes I'd be thinking to myself, like, cool, how you do it? I was like, I always be trying to like check on you. I'm like, how do you do this? Because I'm like trying to get all 32 teams even to condense in 3 weeks was just like, whoa, like I'm gonna need an assistant or something next year. I'm gonna have to do something. Like I'm gonna have to do something, but yeah.
Hey man, it's for the love of the game, though, man. You know, it's
Absolutely.
something fun, something different, one to do. I think it's working out pretty well so far. So excited about that, man.
Yeah.
But so you know, you already talked a little bit about the Commanders on the show yesterday, but talk to us, man. We just here to have a nice conversation about everything, man. Your thoughts, our thoughts. You know, we don't know how we do, man. We ain't sticking to no script and we got to be 5 minutes on this and 7 minutes on that. We don't do that here, man. We don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game. This is going to be one of those for Washington. It's really going to be a prove-it moment. Like, and it's funny. We're almost early in a similar situation how I felt last year because in week 3 we went to Buffalo and I looked at that as a measure stick type of game. This is a measuring stick type of game for this Washington Commanders team because obviously you look at the last 2 showings where their defense has just been torched, giving up almost 7 yards per play, and then you're going against a team where even though no disrespect to Detroit and Jacksonville, they have great playmakers, but now this is on steroids where you have guys on every facet. You got a quarterback that can run, a quarterback that can pass. You got 2 dynamic running backs that can help Jalen Hurts run. Where it's like, so that's another thing too, where we got gashed last week. DeAndre Swift just tore us apart. And then, we talk about Marseille Brown, hold my beer. You got AJ Brown on one end, and then you got Devontae Smith on the other. So this is where it's like, if this AJ Brown is a great wide receiver. Not to mince my words, but if we having trouble with him, we got 2 guys on both sides that can have a type of St. Brown type of impact, and that's kind of where the defense really got to show up. And it's crazy because, and if you heard I know, I don't know if you guys pay attention to what we do, but you look at, they were saying most of the guys, like, they were saying essentially like Detroit knew what we were doing. Our schemes was so predictable that they knew what the game plan was, and that's not a good thing to have, especially in week 2 of NFL season, much less at this point. So something's got to give, and it's sad because it doesn't seem like it's a sense of urgency on the part of commanders. Like Ron Rivera's pretty much, and maybe that's just stoic in his nature, but a part of you is like, this has got to be the week where it's like, okay, if we get the same results, it's not insanity. It's almost to a point where it's like, this is beyond insanity to me at this point. It's to a point now where heads got to roll, because even though preseason wise, Philly is considered the favorite, because obviously on paper they are. I mean, as far as when it comes to pretty much, they're pretty much the most complete team in this division, from the trenches, the playmakers on the offense and defense. So this is a team where you have to make your mark, and you're at home, because obviously we'll play you guys down the road in November. But this is one of those games you really want to establish the tempo, because even if you think about last year, when we went into our 5 games, our 5-game NFC East schedule being 6-6, and we lost four of those 5 games. So this is one of those games where it's like you need to establish your, in this division. And then you got Dallas coming next week. Well, you got to go to Dallas next week. This could be a situation where these two, and not to put the cart before the horse, but this situation this week, you need to take care of this business, because this is a sense of urgency type of game. I know it's the 3rd week of September, but still, for a team that's supposed to be maybe potentially 3rd, 4th, being the basement of the NFC East, this is a perfect time for you to make a statement.
Yeah, you're kind of seeing like some troubling signs early on that they should already have like fixed by now, or at least trying to fix. But like I totally understand what you're saying, and I mean you could say the same thing about the other side. On the flip side, you guys have a lot of weapons on offense too that you utilize. Yeah. So I mean, if Carson gets comfortable, he can be slinging that rock all over the place. So I mean, if Jonathan Gannon doesn't come prepared with a game plan, we could be in for a long day as well. We got to try to put some pressure on Carson and make him make some bad decisions, because you guys got an explosive offense as well on the ground and through the air. Yeah. So this could be a very close game, especially with a divisional game like this. This could be a dogfight.
Yeah. And like you said, now we have that offense where and that's one thing too, where that makes essentially this team more intriguing, Washington, in the sense, because, and it's funny because every week, I do a weekly Watch the Commanders podcast, and we use it every week. We always used to say, who was the guy who was the most, like, as far as the X factor? We used to say Tress Way, because at least it was our punter, because of the fact that he gives the offense, well, not the offense, but it gives our opposing offense, as far as field position. And we knew, like, with us, it's like, hey, we had to condense the game, kind of, make them earn every point, because we really didn't lack the offensive firepower. But like you said, it brings a definite good element. It's like one of those where even like if you have a Detroit game, you can always think to yourself like, okay, we can get back in this game. And even in the Jacksonville game where he scored 14 unanswered in that 4th quarter. So like you said, that does give me hope. And it's just one of those where it's just weird how 2020, the calling card was this defense. Now in 2022, essentially this calling card is going to be the offense. And there was no really changes made. We actually had a lot of subtractions from that defense, and really didn't do much on the defensive end. So it's going to definitely be, I think, offense, like you said, if we can get to a rhythm, and and not to play up you guys, but I think essentially, I think a guy like Curtis Samuel is going to be the one that's going to have the most impact in this game, because I think obviously Terry's my guy. I love Terry, and it's okay. He might have a day, because I think the way you guys bought up Justin Jefferson was amazing, because we talk about somebody MVP. People will talk about him being an MVP candidate after week 1. So he was someone that really got bottled up in that in that situation. And then, it's just, I don't know. But like I said, it's a division game. You can toss out all the stats, all this. It's just a division game. And we've played each other close the last year, regardless of who we played.
Yeah.
Hell, even we had Gary Gilbert, and we kind of gave you guys a run on a Tuesday night.
A COVID Tuesday game. Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah, just want to take a moment to shout out everyone that's been hopping in the chat with us here. So we got the Live Wire Sports and Entertainment. Appreciate you hopping in with us. I was able to they allowed me to grace them with my presence earlier. So appreciate them hopping in the chat and checking us out. Scrub Zero says 2 key division games that can propel you guys or put you away. So, very agreeable comment in my mind. We also have Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. And that's Cole Johnson who did that intro video. If you were not here for the beginning of this show, you need to go back and watch that intro. And you need to stay around to the end. Because when I tell you that that's fire, why? I'm going to let you tell them why. Tell them.
It is. I was blown away by that intro when you showed me over the weekend, man. Like, it was phenomenal. Like, if anybody hasn't seen it, definitely go back and watch it.
Absolutely. And Live Wire Sports, at the same time, Couch Coach was saying that he's a Commanders fan as well. So they kind of that same way. Curtis Samuel, man, he's looking like what the Panthers thought they were going to get when they got him in the first place. He's kind of looking like that. We also got Stuck in My Mind podcast. My boy Wise, appreciate you for hopping in as well. What's going on?
2-0.
Yeah, they getting that thing done. They're getting that thing done. That's all that matters. 2 words for us. He got 2 words for us. Josh Allen. That's definitely for sure. The Commanders can spread the ball around. You got Jahan Dotson. You got Curtis Samuel. You got Lauren. You got Logan Thomas back. You got 2 really solid running backs, McKissick and what's my man's name?
Antonio Gibson.
Gibson. Yeah, I had Gibson in fantasy last year.
Yeah, Gibson's
and
good.
Snowman in the Morning asked if I'm going to be on with them on Friday morning. The answer to that question, sir, is very simple.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
But yeah, back to the where we're going. Go ahead, Wyatt.
Yeah, I was going to ask a Couch Coach question. Now, I'm going to ask you this question now, and then hopefully we get you back on the show when we play you guys again the second time, because I'm going to ask the same question then. What are your opinions on Carson Wentz 2 weeks into the season? Because I know me and Cool had to deal with him before. I kind of want to know your thoughts on him, because I don't know if there's any other QB like Carson Wentz right now in the league. I mean, it's a roller coaster every time you watch him.
And the thing about it, I'm okay with it at this point because the futility of this quarterback position that we've had for years. Like, I'm okay with it. I mean, at this point, obviously the Jacksonville game and like the first interception, I'm like, the Shaquem Griffin one. That one was kind of like the Trayvon Walker one. In his defense, I was like, Trayvon Walker. That's why he's the number 1 overall pick, because of how he can cover the field in this athleticism. That was an athletic play. Yeah. So I'm like, I charge it to the game. And just for him to have the poise to come back in that fourth quarter, it had the 2 touchdowns and the quick strikes. And I think the thing with Carson Wentz, like you said, it's almost like, because, I've dealt with obviously with Taylor Heineke last year, where he's that gunslinger mentality, and we're like, no, we kept on telling, don't be the hero, just do what you need to do, just do what you need to do, don't throw in tight windows. That was all our biggest thing. For 2 weeks, I'm cool with it, because at least at the end of the day, I think he has shown me that he could bring this team back, and I'm good with it. Now my fan base. That's what I'm telling you. I said I'm gonna do this week for sure. I'm gonna log out of any of my social media. I'm not even gonna pay attention to my phone. I mean, people will call it for Sam. Like, I think the first game after that first interception, they were calling for Sam Howell. I'm like, Sam Howell's not dressed today. Like, he can't come in the game. He's not dressed. He's a healthy scratch. Like, he's in street clothes. You see him? He got a tablet in street clothes. He can't play.
I feel like
You know, like
I feel like Carson doesn't know how not to play hero ball. I feel like he's always looking for that big play, that next huge play, no matter what situation they're in. And it seems like whenever he's on, he could be a great QB. He could sling it. He's accurate. He could throw the deep ball. He's got a strong arm. But whenever he's like off or like his game's off that day, it's really off. Like something is like he's throwing small interceptions, like passes that no other QB should be throwing. Like he had that fumble like safety this past week I saw, and then he had like was it a flea flicker or something? He like bombed like way past the receiver.
Yes, and I seen that. Yes, because that was the one. I'm like, okay, where you go? Because the crazy thing about that play, I was like, please do not get that intercepted. That was my big because I knew the play was big. I like, why would he do that? But
yeah.
But it's one of those where we put him in it. Well, our defense put him in a position to do that type of stuff. Like, because to me, he had to kind of take some chances and put some points on the board. So, and that's the thing I think with Washington, they really have to, essentially control the tempo because, like you said, then you can have those type of plays, and it's like, why did you do that? So it's.
He'll have those bad plays, and then he'll have a bunch of decent ones where you're like, all right, that's why we brought him in. That's why we signed him. He can be a good QB. It's just sometimes he has these weird lapses in like his judgment on different throws and stuff. I don't know what the deal is with him. I mean, we've dealt with that for so long there for a while. So it was like every week you're like, you don't know what you're going to get with this dude.
Yeah, it's very like, it's like playing roulette, right?
Yeah,
it's like playing Russian roulette. It's like you just put the bullet in, spin it around, and sooner or later it's going to shoot. Yeah. My thing with Carson is good quarterback, right? Athletically speaking, talent wise, he has what's needed. That's why we moved up to drafted him. The thing with him is the mental lapses. When you see him on the side, when you see him tug that mouthpiece out of his mouth and shove it in his helmet like he getting mad. When you see him bang his helmet on the sidelines, his face is all red. It's like, bro, bad plays happen. You can't let that overcome you and stop you from being a quarterback. And what I don't like about Carson is personal to my team, which is just that you quit on us. So in my mind, you're a quitter. And I don't ride with quitters, right? And that's just my thing with him. But as far as talent and everything, you can't deny that the talent is there. It's always been the issues here, except for that 1 year. That's where the issues have been at. Quickly to just run through a few of the comments, man. As I want to say, Live Wire Sports went in on us with the depth. He's talking about Cole Turner, Damani Brown, Cam Sims, Amani Rogers. And hey, depth is important, especially at your skill position. So more depth than we got because we only dress like 5 wide receivers. Think Carson has the weapons to overcome the mistakes.
Yeah, because this is best group. This is his best collective wide receiver that he's ever had. So absolutely,
I agree.
Yeah.
And apparently, Snowman in the morning when I watched the intro, was it or was it not fire? Was it or was it not fire?
Told you,
bruh, when I think about it, it hypes me up. Just thinking about the video hypes me up. Real talk. And I agree with you. The fans are the worst. Get that a lot of different places. And the defense is the kryptonite. Yeah, we hadn't got a chance to get to that yet, but definitely, Coach, man, how do you feel overall about your defense going into this game?
Insanity. You repeat the same thing and you get the same and expect different results. Look, I love this team, but I'm not gonna be that person that's gonna try to put a lipstick on a pig and call her a beauty queen. This defense is it's the thing that's scary about this team is this defense because you gotta think to yourself the big plays. Like you're getting gashed on big plays, and that's one of those where it's just like that demoralizes the defense.
Yeah,
and it's to a point where how can you expect to? I mean, that's my thing is like, how do you and that's the thing where's the urgency, and that's one thing too where I don't understand why no one feel as though like this isn't a problem. Like, and it's to a point where. We have to buy into this riverboat rowing thing, but it's almost like, yes, we believe in you, but last year in 2021, we had the 31st worst pass defense in the league. We didn't do anything as far as improving our secondary. We didn't do anything. So a part of me was thinking to myself, okay, well, maybe Ron knows what he's doing. Maybe I should be a passenger on this boat. But you look at yourself now, it's just like it's just as worse. And honestly, I think because the simple fact of that we actually putting up points and stuff, and it's like I think it's more it's glossy now. It's like it's kind of like highlighted now, but it's just to a point where those big plays are going to hurt you, and especially when you have a team, especially coming in, like I said earlier, with Philly, they got like I talked about it on the matchup madness. What was the key for Philly? Hell, show up, like and at this point, I mean, as far as offensively, show up. Like as far as if someone asks me what's the key for them to win, at this point, you just show up because we know the defense is going to give you, and just think to yourself, you're giving up 404 yards of total offense on the opposing team. You're giving up 400 yards. You're giving up 29. And that's the thing about that and the thing about that is if you can limit that, because I think, honestly, this team can put up 28 points week in and week out in their sleep. But if you're giving up 29 points, you're not winning football games, especially the way this team is constructed.
Yeah.
And we went against at this point, two teams offensively, they're okay. They're at a point where they're in the beginning of it, where I think you'll see Jacksonville and Detroit do some real good stuff towards, once they kind of gel. I think they still trying to form and doing what they got to do, but that's going to be something that you're like, can we really overcome it? And it's just one of those where it's just like, and I know everybody's calling for Jack Del Rio head, and I mean it's kind of it's to a point where it's understandable. Like it's to a point where I don't know. It's just it's just the defense it's just weird how we went from being one of the best defenses 2 years ago. This damn near same unit.
Yeah.
And now we're like one of the worst defenses in the league. Like it really went that quick.
Well, just so you know, man, we're one bad game away from the pitchforks and torches coming out for Jonathan Gannon. So yeah,
that's what I was gonna say.
With all that talent, bro.
That was my worry going into this game because we 1-1 right now. We had a terrible game on defense against the Lions, and then we had a very good game against the Vikings. So this next game is going to really decide where we're heading here with Jonathan Gannon as a defensive coordinator. Like, can you keep it up another week in a row, or are you going to soften that defense a little bit and let Washington just manhandle you at that point, which I can fully see happening. We've seen it before. I'm sure it won't be the last time. So I'm not entirely sure what we're going to see from the defense. Like Couch Coach was saying, we know what to expect from the offense, at least from the first two games here. So I'm not nearly as worried about the offense as I am the defense, because this can easily be kind of like the Lions situation where it's just dueling quarterbacks at that point, and you're just trying to each team's scoring points back and forth, who can just end up with the most at the end of it. It's definitely going to be a close game, I feel, though.
Yeah. I love this comment by Live Wire Sports, man. He says insanity is the perfect answer. So, hey, we got a cosign from another Commanders fan saying, hey, it is insanity. Hey, I told you, scrub. I told you, bro. Fire. Hot fire. You know what I'm saying? And the laugh, I'm sure that was with our discussion, of course. And then he
Jack
definitely
gotta
agrees.
go.
Yeah.
Bro, Jack gotta go, yeah.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, it's I just see, man, when I look at the two teams, I just see we both still have some questions at quarterback, right? We had a good week out of Hurts, but consistency for both quarterbacks, because it's a question mark for both going in. I think our defense should be better, but again, our coordinator, the first week he decided I was just going to lay off and play cover 2 the whole second half, and it didn't work out too well. It didn't work out for the Vikings the other night either. I think defensive-wise, if we call the games and we play how we should play, we should be good there. But there is a big concern for me. Offense in the second half. We've had 2 games, so we've had, of course, a very small sample size, but we've got to be more hungry we've got to be willing to say, you know what, we got to take these guys out. We got to, I say this all the time, keep our foot on your throat and press down, right? Not get up and let you up and just say, hey, I beat you. Now we're good to go. Like, you got to continue to do it throughout the game. That's, I think, at least to this point, an Achilles heel, because you don't allow teams to get back in the games. We almost blew that game week 1 because of not keeping things going. Because, again, a lot of weapons offensively, you're going to normally find some holes. I'm, proud of what the defense was able to do against Minnesota, because they're another team that has a lot of weapons, or theoretically a lot of weapons. But one of the people they're counting on is the king of the stone hands, and that's Jalen Rieger. So when that's one of your guys you're counting on, that kind of takes away a little bit from what you have. But it's just crazy because we both have a lot of weapons on offense, right? We both have quarterbacks there's questions about. Most people would say on paper, the Eagles' defense is better. But again, on paper, we have to see how his scheme goes this week. It's kind of like you talk about with Wentz. Why earlier about if he's going to be good this week or next week, or how it's going to go. We kind of had that same feeling with Gannon. So there's still some work to be done. There's still some gelling to do. I don't think by any means, any way, shape, or form, this game is written in stone. Oh, it's definitely going to be a win for the Eagles. It's definitely going to be a loss for the Commanders or a win for the Commanders. I think it's really definitely, of course, you know who I hope wins. But
yeah,
actually looking at the game, and I give you a lot of props, Coach, and I love to have you on, man, because you give it real. As a fan, a lot of times people get into the whole, I got to rep my team. I got to show everybody I believe in my team. But I like the fact that you keep it honest, you keep it real. That's what we try to do as well. So, it's good to have someone on that, has that about them, so that we can make sure that, we're really giving people an honest look at the things that could happen, because we don't know what's going to happen until they hit the field. We just look at what's happened so far. We know what the teams look like and what we hope happens. So, yeah, definitely, man. Always enjoy having you on due to that, bro, for sure.
Yeah, and to add on one more thing here is just I think you guys mentioned it before, but by taking your foot off the gas, we've seen Washington these first 2 games come back, and you won one, but you came back in this last one as well. You just weren't able to end up winning that game, but you came very close. So I mean, this is a team that you get in a rhythm, you can come back, or you can sustain a lead a little bit. So this is not a team, especially a divisional team like this. You got, if you have the lead, you got to keep your foot on the gas, because Washington they have the weapons, they can come back to bite you, and I could definitely see that happening, especially a divisional game like this. Everybody's hungry to beat their division rivals.
Yeah, big time.
Scrub Zero, I want to say, bro, you hit the nail on the head. I was gonna wait and see if anybody brought it up before I got into it, but definitely run defense. Swift did carve us up for that 51-yarder at the beginning of the game, and he found some good holes, and he did his thing. Obviously, Dalvin Cook, Madison, we held very below what the expectations were for them, so that's good. But like you said, one questionable performance for the run defense and one really good one. So we're going to see this week against this 2-headed monster that Washington has. Just going to see what happens, man. I mean, we have to go out there, leave it on the field, and see what happens.
Yeah, and I can see Washington, taking advantage of that too. Like Vikings I just see the Vikings as more of a pass-heavy team. You got Thielen, you got Justin Jefferson, of course. I could see Washington really trying to take advantage of that 2-headed monster there in the backfield and just let them run loose, especially if they're able to on this defense, and they can lean on that. And then soon they can catch start slipping in those pass-heavy attacks as well. That would be a good way to win this game for them.
Yeah,
big time.
All right, so Coach, man, I know you got some more thoughts for us, brother. So spit us a little bit more of this knowledge, man.
Yeah, I guess I think it's just one of those where it's like you said, it's gonna be a definitely a close game. This is gonna be a situation where, like we said, we throw it all out. Essentially, it's gonna be a tough physical game. Hopefully nothing crazy happened. I hope we got the rails fixed for Jalen. So I was so embarrassed by that. I was like, gosh, when that happened, I was like, you can really add insult to injury. I'm like, man, why this got to happen in this predicament? So hopefully we got the rails situated for everybody. So, maybe we can celebrate appropriately or whatever you need to do. But But yeah, it's just I think it's gonna really just come down to it, like you said. It's just, and I think Washington really has to have a lead, like to a point. I don't think they can really play behind. I think essentially just the simple fact of I think even how that Jacksonville game, we were up 14-3, that should have really been an indication where, hey, we can't allow teams to kind of come back and make this an interesting ball game. And I think especially for this team, they need to have a lead from the jump and control the tempo of this football game, because just everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks, you have to, and this is not saying this is a must win, but especially after the situation in Detroit, because I think a lot of it too, where it's adversity. All our teams gonna have to go through some form of adversity at some point in the season. This is our low point at the season thus far, like being down 22-0 and pretty much having to come back in the second half. But the thing is, what is Washington going to do at this point when it comes to when they're backs against the wall? Because this is somewhat of a back against the wall where essentially you don't want to fall 1-2 and then 1-2 or one division, and then you go into Dallas the next week, and you just don't want. You don't want this. You want to take care of business, and especially a home game like this. So you have to try to take care of business as much as you can. So I think they have to establish the tempo from the jump, and like you said, I think the same thing probably go for Philly as well. Hey, you got that lead, hold on to it, and go full speed ahead, because like you said, these teams can't get any type of momentum, like as far as if they're behind. So
yeah, it's definitely something you want to kind of address, whether if you win or lose this game. But yeah, going into Dallas, and then you have like that other team in a division to worry about who somehow is 2-0 right now. So I mean, you don't want to fall behind that far, because who knows what they're going to be doing in the rest of the season, which I mean, I'm sure not a lot of people have high hopes for them. I mean, look at the couple teams they played, but still, you don't want to start off on a slow start like that and kind of fall behind early in the division, at least.
Yeah, and don't want to be scoreboard watching on Monday night, because they're like, oh
yeah,
if the Giants win, they'll be 3-0. If we fall to 1-2 or 2-1, they're like, oh, we're gonna lead the division by Tuesday morning. Like, so
yeah,
no, I just want to win. I don't want to scoreboard watch Monday night. I just want to relax, watch the game. I don't want to get caught in we both coming here 1-2. Whoever's gonna lose this game, they be 1-3. Season over. This ain't 2020 where if you're 1-3, you don't have a mathematical chance. Like, I don't look. I want to have some hope at least going into the month of October. Like, I mean,
you don't want to have to scoreboard watch until the back half of the season.
Right? Like, and it's just like, right. Like,
I hear you, man. I definitely hear you, bro. The Couch Coach, man. Tell everybody where they can find you, bro.
Yes. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on the Couch Coach Live. Check out the Couch Coach Live podcast anywhere you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, and we're there. Then also Commanders in the Chat podcast. Now, get that anywhere you get your podcast as well. I have Cool on there tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be previewing this very same matchup. So definitely looking forward to you coming on tomorrow night, talking on the Commanders in the Chat podcast. And we have those. Usually we do them on Thursday, but for sure we do our post-game shows at 5:00 Eastern Standard Time after win, lose, or draw. We're there on Sundays at 5:00 Eastern Standard Time.
All right. Got a couple more comments here. We got Live Wire that says we're going to scoreboard watch regardless.
True.
And then Scrub Zero says 1-3 in the season is game over.
Pretty much. Especially if you owe in that case, if you think about it, you'd be 0-2 in the division.
Yeah, so that really would be.
Yeah.
You're back
so I want y'all to lose this week and win next week. So I want y'all to split the two games. I just want to win. I want to get to that 3-0. I like that zero staying behind. I like that.
I want to be 3-1 when we go back to the crib against Tennessee in October. So I want to be 3-1. I want to be 3-1.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. All right, Wyatt, man, tell them where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, of course, you find me on Twitter at Squad Pod Sports and Cinema Trip Views. Also on YouTube at Waves 5 Media and Cinema Trip Reviews.
So, man, I'm gonna go reverse order what I've been doing. We're gonna start on Tuesday nights. So on Tuesday nights, you can find me and Couch Coach on the NFL Matchup Madness. You can actually get to that by going to playcallersportstalk.com/live. I also post the leaks throughout the week, so if you follow me on any social media outlet, you will see them. On Wednesday nights, you know where I'm at. On Friday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, use that same link again, playcallersportstalk.com/live, the flagship Play Caller Sports Talk show. Me and my co-host Stephen Box, always interactive. Well, we the tag team chance at Interactive Sports Talk. We just have a good time, man. Talk sports, shoot the breeze a little bit, talk a little trash. What else could we do? And then on Saturday nights, Couch Coach did not mention either. We are on the NFC Beast show. You can find it on Couch Coach Live. You can find it on playcallersportstalk.com/live, or you can find it on playcallersportstalk.com/Eagles Elite. New wrinkle in the game for you.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to find the stuff, man. Love to be interactive. Also, if anyone's looking for new gear, I know the Day Fanatics is running a special, 65% off. If you hop on there through playcallersportstalk.com/fanatics, you can help support the shows that we're on.
You should have let me know that. I ordered a fresh, crispy new Philly hat the other day with that 65% off. So I wish I would have known. I would have used your code.
It's all good. It's all good. Making sure it's known for future endeavors. All good.
I was gonna say, man, we gotta get you some credits for like all your promos because you got a whole list of shows you're with.
Right, just be rolling down.
No,
start rolling credits.
I know.
It's gonna get worse. But Couch Coach, there's two things we gotta do, man. The first thing I do is one thing we always have to remind you of.
All right, hey. We'll see, let's clip that. I will clip that. I'm gonna get Ron Bear to let this clip play Saturday night at the team hotel and let them know, hey, everybody, just like matter of fact, before we leave, what was that billboard that said, Carson, we coming for you? I'm like, bro, put that in the locker room today. Put that in the locker room.
I didn't see that.
Material.
I saw that. They had put it up. Like, it was somewhere in Philly. They had put up a board talking about Carson.
And I'm like,
never ends well.
Yeah.
Yes, I was like, put that in the middle of the field. Like, paint that on the practice field all week. I want him to have a shirt. I want him to wear a shirt at pregame.
I keep telling you, Couch Coach, you don't want Carson to see that because you don't know how he's going to take it, and you know how most other people take it. But you got to remember,
I mean,
this is the struggle.
And to his defense, I don't necessarily. I think what he went through, and all of us would have been mentally frazzled. Come on now, you think about it. He was 11-3. Look, that man was 11-3. Yeah, play it. Put the speaker on. Put the volume up. That man was 11-3. Gets hurt. His backup quarterback wins a Super Bowl for a team that's never won a Super Bowl. Like, are you serious? Like, all of us would have been that way. I don't care what no one said. And Indianapolis is kind of a one-off. His own. He's not the best, but I think we all feel that way. Could you imagine first 14 games, you're 11-3, you're on the verge of being an MVP. You tear your ACL, and then your backup quarterback becomes like the hero. That's just like if you do a project.
Couch Coach.
What?
I hear what you're saying, man. But I have to say this. Scrub Zero, first of all, I want to say you're wrong for that. But I do feel you. Now, we could both get a tie, which I don't want.
I love a tie.
I don't want a tie. But I feel you on that. But I also want to say to you, Couch Coach, here's the thing. You got hurt, right? Nobody got you hurt. It's a game you get hurt. You should be happy that what you did helped the team win a Super Bowl, right? But instead, you get SAWFT. You come back the next year earlier than you should have because you're scared because the same dude is quarterbacking. You then don't want to compete with a second-round pick for the quarterbacking job, right? Demand to be shipped out. You get shipped out. You go to the team with your old OC, where supposedly he's the one that was going to bring Carson back. The whole organization cut big with the man after a year. He comes to your organization, and let's not forget, in the offseason, in training camp, there was a lot of rumbles from the team that people were not happy with the way he was carrying himself on the field when he missed the throw. When he got the quote-unquote sack, because, nobody hits anymore in the preseason, but, the quote-unquote sack and all that. So I'm just saying, as a football fan with a tad bit of Eagles bias, stop being so soft.
Hey, just imagine working on a group project, you get an A, and they take your name off the project.
They didn't take his name off the project. He took his name off the project.
But
he ran out the building.
So, and I know y'all fans are like, oh, he don't deserve a ring. I know people.
No.
You know how people.
I think he deserve it.
It took two quarterbacks to win that Super Bowl. It took two.
Yeah,
because he got those wins, which helped us get to where we were, where we had the home field. But you did not win it. So all I'm saying is acknowledge what he did good for us, which I do. But at the same time, you turn into a coward and you demanded to be traded and ran off after you got the pay that you wanted. So all I'm saying is I'm not going to respect that. I'm not going to respect that. But I do respect the talent because I know that there's talent there.
He did like all the base work and the ground level work, getting it all ready. And then, your partner went out there, put it all together, put a bow on it and presented it and got all the credit for it. Right. Just kind of with what Couch Coach was saying.
But everybody knows, but most people don't even want to give Foles, credit. They want to give Wentz the credit for the Super Bowl. And hey, you got to give them both credit. Yeah. Because they both had to do their part for us to get there. We don't know if Wentz would have been able to make it through the playoffs. I'm not saying that he wouldn't have, but we don't know. But we know that Foles at least was an experienced quarterback. Wasn't a good starter, but he was able to fill in and do what he needed to do for that run. He's never been the same quarterback again. I don't think he ever will be or ever was before then. But, hey, I just appreciate the run. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we could go on all night. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end the show here. We got to give you this piece of hot fire one more time tonight. So for me, my boy Wyatt, and my good man, Couch Coach, we appreciate y'all watching. Couch Coach, we can have you back. You can catch me with Couch Coach tomorrow night. We got to get out this fire again. And you're welcome.
The kick is away, and the kick it's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. We just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin!